Hello, my name is Albert Merrick. This is my Pachakcha presentation about research for life. Now, what is research for life? To me, research for life is the ability to research anything that you may come across in life, such as guitars, vehicles, and so that way you know what you're going to get when you pay for. You'll have the knowledge that is power. Both of these quotes stand for everything that research for life is. A lot of us go out, we pay for something very cheap. Like me, my first guitar when I went to buy it was a really, really cheap guitar. I couldn't play it, almost stopped me from playing my guitar. Now, I have this glorious set of four guitars, which, by going through and doing my research of these guitars, I know which one's worth, I know how to play each, and I'm working on getting better and better. One of those guitars is actually $1,000 in there. I have spent a lot of time learning how to play. I've even spent enough time with my research to learn how to build one, which is pictured here. I built this one from the bottom up. I started off with a $25 guitar body, and I worked on it. I built it. I took something from my own two hands with the research and the knowledge that I had and put it together myself, so that way I'd have something that's mine. Another project of mine, my AR-15. Again, it is another project that I spent many months, many days, many hours researching. I know both the guitar and this rifle inside and out. They are both proud projects of mine. I've spent hours researching them. Following the methods of research for life, I was able to go through, find the parts that I needed, how to put them together, when I needed to put them together, and how they would function. Knowing this, I've also learned a lot about the rifle and the guitars themselves. I know what makes a guitar strum, I know what brings it sounded, I know how its pickups work, I know how the rifle works. Now then, research is also key for owning pets. I own a couple of pets myself, and the research will affect everything for the animal you have, whether it's a snake to a dog, from its food to its quality of life. Knowing what you need to know about the animal will help prevent costly vet visits. Currently, here is the cage that houses my pet ball python. She's a few months old. She was just fed right now, and through research I know that I should not handle her while she's digesting her food. It could cause her to puke, it could cause her other undue harm and stress, so I decided I'd not pull her all the way out to let you view. But I spent many months using books like these and other internet web sources to cover the research for this snake. I needed to know all I could about this snake. I needed to know the tank temperature. I needed to know how much it eats, what it eats, how often it should be fed, how often it's going to shed, the type of proper and care. And these books and other internet resources helped me. Now I'm currently in the research for a husky. It's going to be many, many more months before I can get a husky, but that is what I'm researching for right now. I've picked up a couple of books. I'm always looking online, reading about them, their habits, their health, types of food, how to care for them on their coat. And a lot of that was covered here in this first book. But this first book gave you very broad sense of everything. Yeah, so I could have looked at this book and gone and gotten a puppy, but I needed to do my research. I really needed to know. So I used the other links and all the access support items inside this and the other research to go and find more research. Even from my tattoo to my personal vehicle, I've done my research. My tattoo, I have covered. I'd spent many, many months. Again, it's like sounding like a broken record. I spend months researching something before I do it. The tattoo was one of those. It was I've ever since I've been a young child, I've always wanted to get a tattoo. So when I came of age, I went and got a tattoo. I spent months learning what each symbol means because I have Celtic cross mixed in with a Native American dreamcatcher, which is sides of my heritage. Now I had to go through and see what each symbol meant, what everything was, the whole meaning of the tattoo. Then I spent many months and weeks with my father looking for tattoo artists after I knew what I wanted to get and where to get it. So we'd go into a tattoo shop, look at the artist, look at some of his work that he was doing, and then we took another step from there, eventually leading up to the point where I was comfortable with a tattoo artist, comfortable enough to let him work on my arm, and that's where I went. Before that, I was looking for a vehicle. I've done research, finding all types of vehicles that were cheap enough to buy, but there were so many other problems with them, and my family and I, we sat down and researched and looked and looked and looked until we found my perfect vehicle for me, my Jeep Cherokee that I now own. Another one that I know a lot of research about is the custom-built Harley Sportster that my dad has put together. Now this thing will put out 512 horsepower at the rear wheel because he custom built it to do that. Now once I get my license and I start driving, after I get miles and get life research, I will get it. But now I've talked about a lot of what I've personally researched and why I research. What happens when you don't? I'm going to come up to a book of mine that I've published because everyone's always told me I've been a great writer. I need to publish a book. So I did. This was before I accepted the fact of I need to do my due diligence. This is my book, The Darker Side of a Beautiful Life. Now inside of it looks like any other book. Cover looks ordinary, but once you start taking a closer look at this teardrop here soon, it'll look like it's been made in Microsoft Paint, something I could have done for free. I had contacted to ask about their editorial service. They said they had an editorial service. They said, yeah, you can use it. Send us your rough drafts. We'll edit them for you, and then we can publish it. Now, I rushed forward with this. I rushed too much. And it came back to anything that I needed to fix or change became my responsibility to pay. And it's not like pay $5 and we'll fix the whole book for you. It was to change everything cost $5 for every little mistake. I hope you learned a little bit about the Research for Life. I'd like to thank you for listening to my presentation. Always do your research. It'll never hurt you. This has been Albert Merrick, and again, thank you for listening to the presentation.